One of the biggest hurdles and biggest struggles for those who want to get started in a skilled trade is the concept of work life balance. Do I have a life outside of work if I work in the trades? Today's video, I want to go over work life balance, what that looks like, and how you might be able to kind of figure out what that balance looks like for you. Let's hop into it. Hi, my name is Austin. I am a journeyman lineman by trade. I went through a union lineman apprenticeship in the Northwest from the years of 2017 to 2020. I've been a lineman now for, almost 4.5 years. Previously, before I did power line work, I worked doing power line tree trimming clearance out of the union. And then before that, I worked at a welding fab shop. And then before that, while I was in high school, I worked at a mechanic shop. So the skilled trades, the blue collar lifestyle is honestly something is really something the only thing I knew. I thought I was going to go to college and be an engineer. That quickly became a thing of the past when high school was coming to an end, and I thought there ain't no way I'm going to another 4 years of school.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
So I got into a trade, and specifically, I wanted to get into a trade through the lineman trade. But as you hear stories about, how competitive it is or how hard it can be getting an apprenticeship and what I have to do, and it's a hard trade to go through. A lot of those things are true. But today I want to kind of discuss the point of work-life balance. I had someone who had commented and they said, could you make a video about work-life balance as a journeyman for this trade, the lineman trade? This is one of those trades that is rather notorious for rather poor work-life balance, at least superficially. I know utilities a little bit better in this aspect. So talking about the lineman trade, this is not the only trade that has this work-life balance issue. There's a lot of trades, the oil field or pipeline welders or iron workers, where traveling is part of the trade. Like you're doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. You're doing these hitches. You're working away from home. I know several people in a bunch of different industries. That's how their life looks. And ideally, we want to get into a trade. We want to be able to just work 40, 50 hours and be at home, right? So like what in your idea, when you think about work-life balance, what does that look like for you? Does that work-life balance look like 4 10s, the working Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days and having a 3-day weekend, to spend with family, friends, go on little, vacations? Is that what work-life balance looks like to you? Or is it 5 10s? Or what does that work-life balance look like? So for me, being a journeyman, I think ideally for me, work-life balance looks like 5 10s is an awesome schedule. I make pretty decent money, and it's something I can easily live comfortably off of 5 10s, 5 10-hour days on Monday through Friday. And then I still have a weekend to do things with my wife or just do things that I enjoy doing, working on things, whatever the case may be. So to me, work-life balance looks like, hey, Monday through Friday, 10-hour days is a good work-life balance for me. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. Work starts at 5. And then I work 5 to 3. I get home, go to the gym. It's around 4 o'clock, work out for an hour, come home, eat dinner, and have a couple hours to hang out with my wife and do whatever before the night ends. And I crawl back into bed and do again the next day, Monday through Friday. And then the weekend comes along, and, I don't live for the weekends, but it is nice to have a couple days off just to get things done around the house, to spend time with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family, whatever that looks like for you. I think that's pretty good. Now, everyone has a different perception of what their work-life balance is good. There might be a lot of folks out there where they see work-life balance as, hey, I love working 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. The reason being is, hey, yes, for 2 weeks, I sacrifice 2 weeks, right? From my wife, from my kids, from my family, from my friends, from my home. But then those 2 weeks I have off, I'm able just to commit all my time, my energy, and do things with my family. It's quality one-on-one time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't have to worry about work. Don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So, hey, maybe that works great for those people. But when it comes to a trade like the lineman trade, there is that, the concept of work life balance of like where you see on the internet of these guys working 612s, 712s, and they're working 6, 7 days a week for months on end away from family. Those guys, I don't know what the percentage of those people that are doing that, but it comes down to a personal choice. It comes down to location of where you live. It comes down to the kind of work and the kind of money you want to make. There's these variables that you do need to think about, right? Yes, I do know some guys who work in, or a lot of guys who work in the lineman trade who they love chasing the money. They love going to work the big jobs. So they either bring their family, their wife and kids with them in the fifth wheel, or they leave them behind at home and they do these big jobs for months on end or however long that time period is. And then they go home and now they can take a month, 2 months, 3 months off and just pour back into their family. So maybe that is their work life balance and that works great for them. They make a bunch of money, they save up, and then they take a couple months off. They go on vacations and they have the money because they're moneyed up. So to them, that works great. For others, 410s is awesome because hey, I make, 1,900 bucks a week. I I can live off that. I live below my means. I'm fine with working 40 hours a week Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday 510s. Or hey, maybe I love doing 610s. I love working Monday through Saturday. It's a bigger paycheck. Yes, I work more. I got more early mornings, maybe some more late nights. But then I have Sunday off, which then I can go to church, hang out with my wife, and get things done. But does that work for your relationship? Does that work for your family? Right? So, like, these are things that you have to think about. And yes, there is a reason why the divorce rate in a trade like the ironworkers trade or the lineman trade or the welders, especially like pipeline welders or oil field, is that distance between husband and wife or husband and family. And it comes to a point where it's just too much, right? And so that's why the divorce rate is so high. So, I mean, it does make sense. But when it comes to work life balance, you become a journeyman lineman. It really is up to you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go work these big jobs and work on the road, right? If you can figure out your finances enough, hey, if work is slow in your area, I can afford to take a couple months off. You know what I mean? Like, I can afford that. I'm not going to be in a severe pinch and like have to go apply at McDonald's type of thing. So, figuring out your finances, it's possible. Like there is work life balance, and I don't like that stereotype that all the trades are just there's no work life balance. There's a lot of depressed, blue collar folks on TikTok and stuff who are just like, I work 7 days a week and that's all I do, and this and I have no work life balance, and this. Okay, but that's ultimately your choice. If whatever trade you're working in, whatever position you're in, you can change that. So there is the possibility of good work-life balance in the trades. Now, like the ironworkers trade, I have my good buddy Marcos. Hey, he had to travel several states away from his wife and his kids to go work because he's an ironworker and the job ended where he was at. Well, I need to go back to work. So a couple months goes by and he's like, hey, this job kicked off over here. It's, 8 and 20 hours away. So packs his stuff, kisses his wife, and says, hey, I got to hit the road. And it is what it is. And a lot of those times it's like, well, the wife understands. Or if the wife does it and she doesn't like it, better just have that conversation and say, hey, like, I can't do this. Like, you got to be at home. So it all comes down to, clear communication between you and your spouse, you and your family. What does that conversation look like? Communication is very important. So the work-life balance is totally, totally hinged on you as a person, you and your family. There is such thing as work-life balance. I'm living proof of it right now. I'm living work-life balance, and hey, I'm enjoying life. So don't believe all the things you see on the internet about the trades being the stereotype of no work-life balance. It's possible. And like I said, it just comes down to a personal tendency of what do I need to do or what can I do to create this work-life balance for me, my wife, my kids, my friends, and just my life as a whole. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video with Blue Collar Edu. I'm here to expose, teach, educate you guys about blue collar career opportunities, how to get started in a skilled trade. Work-life balance, it's a big one, right? It's something that a lot of people probably get thrown off on about wanting to get into the trades. It's the work-life balance. If I get started in the trades, I won't have a life. That's not true. So, with all that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.